Welcome back to Mass Transfer Operations 2 course. In this class, I shall start discussing the new topic named drying operations. It is very important this one topic in Mass Transfer Operations 2. The syllabus is as follows. First point is mechanism of drying and drying equilibria, then drying rate curve, then drying. In drying we will be discussing on the rate of drying for batch dryers, and in another this one class we will be discussing rate of drying for continuous dryers. Then we will be discussing this drying time calculation from drying rate curve, and finally we will be discussing on the through circulation and cross circulation drying. Before the start of this mechanism of drying and drying equilibria, we should know the details about the drying operation. So, the drying is regarded as the last operation of so many chemical processes, such as this sugar manufacturing and leather manufacturing from in the tannery from the leathers, and say for soap manufacturing in the humid chamber, or milk powder generation from this milk using the spray dryer. Then we can say sometimes this heat sensitive material drying like enzymes using this freeze dryer, that is dried at minus 55 degrees Celsius with the help of this lyophilization. And say some foodstuffs also are dried, and so many spices also are dried before it goes into the market for the consumers, like say so many spices ranging from this curcumin to we can say different spices. And this there is a difference between this evaporation and drying. Okay, if we say that suppose from the soap life, this if we want to make the glycerin, then it is called evaporation, because the final product is liquid. So, from the liquid some amount of water is separated and we are getting this glycerin. So, that is evaporation. This is not the drying of say soap lye. Like say if we want to make condensed milk, then we start with this milk, and from the liquid we will be getting another liquid. So, that we can say evaporation. But we can say this one whenever we will be talking about the say removal of moisture from gases or liquid, then that is also regarded as drying process. But in this chapter in terms of drying operations, we will not be covering that part, that is we can say drying of gases and liquids. Okay. So, we will start with this topic like evaporation and drying, that I told that say evaporation is to some extent different from drying. In evaporation process, the suppose we will start with this liquid and we will be ending with the concentrated liquid. But in case of the drying process, in general we can say this one, it can start with any, we can say this mostly we can say this one say moist liquid solid, or we can say this one any thing which is rich in water is converted into relatively liquid free solid. So, we can say drying may be regarded as an operation in which the liquid, generally we can say this water presents in a wet solid is removed by vaporization to get relatively liquid free solid products. So, drying does not demand or ensure complete removal of the moisture. So, so many examples are cited here, just like we can say this one in the left hand side, we have shown that so many vegetables or fruits actually are dried here using only sun drying. And one example of freeze drying process we told earlier that which are very heat sensitive material. Let us take one example of the soup, that is nowadays we can get so many ready to eat soups are available. Suppose the soup contains say different ingredients, suppose these ingredients, then water also like this, and it is one complete soup. But whenever we will be freezing this one, say whenever it will be converting into the solid product from this liquid mixture, then this water also will be converting into ice. Then in the freeze drying process, this sublimation will take place, that is we can say this one, whatever water is there, it will be separated from the system, or we can say this one solid ice will be converting into vapor in the single stage. So, then we will be getting one freeze dried product, that is we can say this soup, and whenever we have this freeze dried soup in the, say that is available in the market. So, we will bring this one back to our home, and we will be adding in the hot water this freeze dried the solid stuff, and then we will be getting back this soup with this almost same calorific value, and we can say this one same taste, and we can say this one with the same color. In another application, the suppose wet algae, especially say we can see so many green blue algae like spirulina, these are obtained from this we can say this one water body, then it is now conveyed through our one conveyor belt like this, whereas this hot water bath actually is placed here, and this hot water supplies this heat to this wet algae, and then evaporation takes place from this wet algae. So, this water will be converting into water vapor here, and then whenever it will be leaving this conveyor belt, it will be coming as this dried, this we can say this one biomass of this, we can say this one the spirulina like this, and we will be obtaining this one as the dried product, and that is used for so many applications, like it is used as the food supplement. So, many this one algae are dried in this way also. Now, as a whole, if we see this drying process, so many vegetables are dried to get the final product to store for a long period of time. So many vegetables are dried, and so many fruits also, these are fruits are and these vegetables are dried like this. This is one application of the drying process. In another application, we say we will be also we may discuss this one, that is we can say this one. So many pharmaceutical products are also dried in the controlled condition. Say suppose humidity is maintained in a particular this one value, and it is dried in a long period of time. So, this we can say so many drug items are also dried in the drying process. So, whenever we will be talking about any dyes, or we can say this one paints etc., these are also dried. So, and the application of this drying process for the different painting materials, and we can say this one inks or say dyes, they are there in so many this one instances. And the fourth one is this say the drying process as a whole, we can say this one different types of dryers are there to dry so many different types of products are there. Okay. Now, we will be discussing about the mechanism of drying process. So, drying is governed by the principles of transport of heat and mass, that is just like we can say this one humidification operation and dehumidification operation, or we can say it is another example of simultaneous heat and mass transfer process. And this moisture can move within a solid by a variety of the mechanisms depending upon the nature and type of the solid and its state of the aggregation. So, we will be discussing in detail about the different mechanisms they are there for the drying of different products. Like it is entirely dependent on crystallinity of the material, whether it is a granular, whether it is a powder material, whether it is a bead, or whether it is a slit, or whether it is a slab, or we can say whether it is a filter cake like this. So, it is entirely dependent on so many other parameters also. We will be discussing the porosity, pore size distribution, everything actually this one how the drying mechanism will take place. So many parameters control the drying process also. Like here schematically it is shown that say it is the wet material placed in a tray like this, and this hot air is entering and it is actually flown then we can say this heat will be transferred from this hot air to the wet solid, and then moisture will be transferred through this from the solid body to the gas, and then the whatever wet material was there in the beginning, it will be converting into the relatively dried products. Like here actually say this in the schematically it is shown, say one particular product actually we want to get this one, it is placed in a tray, and say air is entering with this temperature like TAI, that is we can say the initial temperature, with the humidity YI, and say air velocity is as VA. And then due to this convection, convective heat transfer, so heat will be transferred from this hot air to this wet solid, and this evaporation will take place. Here actually we have shown that only convection, but you see conduction and radiation, these also will take place, and then say we will be discussing in detail about that the mode of heat transfers from the, say we can say this one hot air, or we can say this one a heating medium. It may be direct contact, it may be the indirect contact, we will be discussing detail. And then we say due to this evaporation, this we can say humidity of the this one air will increase, suppose from YAI to YA out, and say temperature will decrease, definitely this temperature should decrease from TAI to TAO, and we say air this one velocity is assumed as the constant, because this is this one devoid of this water vapor. So, this we can say this one initial product is entering, and then final product is this one exiting. And if we say this moisture content in the beginning in the initial product is Xi, and whenever it will be coming from this product, that at any time it will be just like we can say this X. So, that is we can say this one moisture content will definitely decrease from Xi to X. So, we can say this one Xi will be greater than X, because that our target is to remove this water vapor from the this one what is called initial material, and we will be getting relatively less moist this one solid. Now, say we will be discussing detail about the movement of the moisture within the solid. So, there are 4 different ways of this, we can say this one movement of the moisture within the solid. We will be discussing all the, we can say this one diffusion, all the movement mechanism from this wet solid, this one, and what are the conditions, prevailing conditions required for that type of movement also we will be discussing in detail. The first one is we can say this one, this liquid diffusion, that is due to this concentration gradient between the depth and the surface. We can say this one falling rate period is there, we can say this one, that is liquid diffusion, or say we can say this in the beginning we have this wet solid with this huge amount of moisture content, and we are applying this heat this one on the wet surface of the wet material, and then due to this liquid diffusion from the interior of the solid, the we can say this one water will be vaporized from the top surface of the solid material. So, this is we can say this only due to liquid diffusion. Okay. Then second one is called this capillary movement. So, whenever we have this unbound moisture in granular or porous solids, actually that will move through we can say capillaries. We can say due to the surface tension, this water from the interior of this wet solid will be coming out. That is only we can say this one unbound moisture will be this one dried during the, and it will be coming out due to this capillary movement. Then we can say this one whenever we will be discussing about the constant drying rate period, we will be discussing also in detail about this constant drying rate period, what is that. So, we can say this one as the drying proceeds, at first we can say this moisture moves by capillary to the surface rapidly enough to maintain a uniformly weighted surface, and drying rate remains constant. So, we can say this one say whenever we have huge amount of moisture content inside this solid. So, we can say this one moisture will be moving by the capillary to the surface very easily, and as we know that this evaporation we can say this it is entirely dependent on the surface area from where it is evaporating. So, we can say this one in the beginning is a wet solid, it will not quench also, or we can say this one remain as such for a long period of time. So, in that condition or in the initial condition, the surface area will remain constant and the amount of water also inside this material also will be very high. That is why it will be coming very easily through this capillary, and then we can say this one drying rate will be simply proportional to the surface area, because this amount of moisture will be very high. That is why it will not control the, we can say this one how fast the drying rate will be or how slow will be. So, that is we can say constant drying rate period. And the fourth the mechanism is like this, we can say this one vapor diffusion. So, if heat is supplied to one surface of a solid while drying proceeds from another surface, then moisture may be evaporated beneath the surface and diffuse outward as vapor. So, that we can say this one, that is called say vapor diffusion. So, that is we can say this, in one side we are supplying heat, and from the another side we can say this one vapor will be say this one coming out. So, in that case we can say this vapor diffusion will take place. We will be discussing this also. Now, you see this, if we summarize the mechanism of moisture transport in different solids. So, we have this, suppose one is the liquid diffusion, that we can say this one liquid will be coming from this interior of the solid to the exterior of the solid or top surface of the solid as liquid, and then from there it will be evaporated. Then we can say this one transport by these capillary forces also. So, in some cases we will also show you that say through the capillary the this one water will be transported and it will be vaporized from the top surface. Then pressure induced transport. So, we can say this one whenever we will be talking about the constant drying rate period, there we will be discussing that say the water vapor will be transporting this one from the interior to the top surface. Due to this only the partial pressure gradient of this water vapor this one inside this wet material and the exterior of the wet material. And the fourth one, that is the vapor diffusion that we discussed now, that is a if heat is supplied from one side and vapor is coming out from the another side. But you see, we need to remember that on the mechanism that dominates depends on the nature of the solid, its pore structure and the rate of drying. So, this is we can say we need to remember this one. Like we say we can say this one granular and porous solids, the capillary forces will be the guiding transport mechanism. If we say the pores are non-uniform, maybe big, maybe small or like this, then we can say this liquid diffusion will be the controlling mechanism. Suppose solids are there, then it will shrinkage during this drying process, then compressive force will be there to squeeze out the moisture from the interior to the exterior surface. Then that we say this one pressure induced transport of the liquid within the solid like this. And at low moisture content, suppose this drying process is going on, then we can say this one water vapor content inside the solid actually is decreasing, then vaporization occurs below the surface, then vapor has to diffuse out of the solid like this. So, these are the different we can say this one examples of the we can say different mechanisms in the drying process, as well as this we can see the drying materials. Now, we see this one another important term we need to understand, that that is drying equilibria. So, we can say this one this is nothing but the equilibrium, this relationship between the moisture content of the solid and the humidity of the ambient drying medium at the equilibrium, that is we can say this one drying equilibria. In the figure, say if we see minutely, we will find that for asbestos fiber and for PVC, this relative humidity is steeper, actually we can say this one for both the cases like this with the equilibrium moisture content. So, in the asbestos fiber and PVC, we can say this one equilibrium moisture content is very less. So, we will be discussing about what is the real meaning of equilibrium moisture content, that we will be discussing in detail. That is equilibrium moisture content means this one in a particular operating condition. So, we can say if we say the temperature, pressure, then relative humidity, then how much amount of moisture will be there inside the solid, that cannot be separated by any of the we can say the conventional drying process. So, that actually is called equilibrium moisture content. So, for we can say this one for asbestos fiber and for PVC, the equilibrium moisture content is very less. It is, we can say this one 0.001 like this one kg dry solid like this. But whenever we will be talking about this wood and kraft paper, say this one that the equilibrium moisture content actually is increasing gradually with relative humidity. So, we can say this one, if we go on increasing the relative humidity of the drying medium, so equilibrium moisture content will go on increasing. So, in case of this kraft paper, you see this one for a relative humidity of 0.9 like this. So, the moisture equilibrium moisture content will be like 1.18 or like this equilibrium moisture per kg dry air. But for different jute this one fibers, and we can say this one for the wheat also, there are, we can say this one, whenever we have this more relative humidity, then moisture content also, equilibrium moisture content values also are very high. In case of this potato, you see this one relative humidity values are, we can say this one around 0.32 like this, whenever this relative humidity is around 0.85 like this. So, we need to know the relationship with the equilibrium moisture content for a particular wet solid drying. So, we need this prior information or relationship between the equilibrium moisture content and the relative humidity to get the drying characteristics. So, we will be discussing that, say for time calculation or what type of drying actually is taking place. Say for that type of calculation, we need the relative humidity versus equilibrium moisture content relationship. So, drying means we can say the loss of the moisture by the vaporization occur till the moisture content of the solid is more than the equilibrium value under the prevailing state of the ambient medium. So, this whenever we will be talking about this medium or drying medium, what is the this one ambient condition, means what is the flow rate, what is the humidity, what is the temperature. So, all the parameters will control the equilibrium moisture content. Now, the moisture present in a solid exerts a pressure which is equal to or less than the vapor pressure of the water at a particular temperature. That will be, we can say this one will be separated only. So, if we say this one, say adsorption process, that is with this relative saturation, this we can say the equilibrium moisture content. The adsorption means we can say this one addition of water here in the dry solid like this. So, if we increase the relative saturation of the ambient this one atmosphere, then we can say this one water vapor will be adsorbed and we can say this one it will become moist. So, it will follow this route like this. But whenever we will be talking about drying process, that is our desorption process, actually we say this one, if we just decrease this relative saturation, and then we can say this one equilibrium moisture content will go on decreasing. So, here actually you see this one, whenever this equilibrium moisture content will decrease, means desorption, we are this one trying to equilibrate this one with adsorption as the, we can say the humidification operation and desorption as the drying operation. So, this is, we can say the desorption is nothing but the drying operation, and the solid and the gas are then in equilibrium, we can say this one whenever this drying process is in equilibrium. The moisture content of the solid is equilibrium moisture content at the operating condition. So, we will be discussing that also in detail about this critical moisture or equilibrium moisture, those will actually we need to understand those terminologies. Now, we should learn the some typical terms. The first this one term is that we can say this one moisture content. So, that is we can say this one, we have either we need to express this moisture content in the wet basis or we need to express the moisture content in the dry basis. In wet basis, the moisture content is a quantity of the moisture in a wet solid expressed in the mass ratio unit like this. So, moisture content will be 1 kg moisture divided by 1 kg dry solid plus x kg moisture. So, we can say this into 100 means percentage, then it is 100 x divided by 1 plus x. This 1 is this 1 kg dry solid and x is the x kg moisture. Okay. But whenever we will be discussing about this moisture content in the dry basis, so it is expressed as the moisture content like this 1 kg moisture per 1 kg dry solid into 100. So, we can say this one, this 100 x divided by 1 means 100 x. So, that is we can say the dry basis. Here this whenever the drying process will be taking place, how much drying is taking place in wet solid. So, this moisture content will remain constant. We can say this one moisture content, if we say express this one on dry basis. So, moisture content in the dry, we can say this one wet solid or dry solid will remain always constant, because you see this one for 1 kg dry solid, how much amount of this, we can say this one how much amount moisture actually is there. So, this is actually x kg moisture actually is there, x kg moisture per 1 kg dry solid. So, x kg moisture means that is the total amount of moisture present there, and say we can say this one, that is why it is always 100 x. So, it will not change for any type of we can say drying operation. Now, there are 4 different types of moisture also we will be discussing this one. First one is called bound moisture. So, this bound moisture is that we can say this one, the amount of moisture in a wet solid actually that exerts a vapor pressure less than that of the pure water at given temperature is called the bound moisture. So, if we say this one in the relative humidity versus moisture content. So, we can say this one when we say this amount of the moisture, suppose this x b amount, this moisture, this x b you can say this one bound moisture. So, we can say this one that this amount of the moisture that is present inside this wet solid that exerts a vapor pressure less than that of the pure water, means we can say this one vapor pressure of the pure water at that particular temperature and pressure. So, that is we can say the bound moisture, or in other words we can say this one in a wet solid the amount of moisture that will remain bound with the solid material and that cannot be separated easily, or we can say this one if we keep it as such that cannot be separated. Then unbound moisture, that is definitely we can say this one the total moisture content minus this bound moisture will give you the unbound moisture. So, that is we can say this one the amount of moisture in wet solid in excess of the bound moisture is called the unbound moisture, but it exerts a vapor pressure equal to that of the water in the given temperature and pressure. So, in that case we can say this one whenever we will be talking about this unbound moisture, this is we can say this one the amount of excess this one of the total moisture, that is we can say this one this x I, that is actually we can say this one initial moisture content, but this difference actually is giving this, if we say the total moisture content minus this bound moisture, then we will be getting the unbound moisture. So, it the unbound moisture means we can say that is in equilibrium, we can say this one the water vapor pressure of the we can say this one moisture that present inside the solid material and the at that particular temperature and pressure what is the vapor pressure, both will remain same. So, that is we can say this unbound moisture, it will be separated in the particular condition without any we can say this one help of this any drying medium. So, that amount of moisture, that is unbound moisture, if the we can say the vapor pressure of this water vapor at that particular temperature pressure becomes equal to the vapor pressure of this water which is present inside this wet solid will become equal, then we can say this one the amount of moisture, this excess amount of moisture over bound moisture will be regarded as this unbound moisture. Now, the another moisture that we already discussed this one equilibrium moisture. So, the moisture content in a solid that can remain in equilibrium with the drying medium of a given relative humidity at a given temperature. So, that is we can say this one equilibrium moisture. Let us take one example like this that condition actually in the beginning also we told that the equilibrium moisture content is not a fixed quantity. So, it will be varying with this one condition of the drying medium. Let us take this is the equilibrium moisture content like this the pressure, temperature, flow rate and relative humidity this one of one particular say drying medium is like this RH is this one, and then so we can say this one the moisture content that will remain actually in equilibrium with the drying medium. So, whenever we will be drying that any wet solid, because we will be maintaining one drying condition. So, in that drying condition, whatever the moisture content, the minimum amount of moisture content that will remain inside this drying solid, that we can say this one as the equilibrium moisture. So, if we change the condition of this drying medium, means if we decrease the relative humidity, or if we increase the flow rate, or we can say this one, if we increase the temperature of the drying medium, then this X star or equilibrium moisture content, this equilibrium moisture content, that is we can say this one, this X star. So, that will decrease, means if we increase this, if we decrease the relative humidity, or if we increase the say Reynolds number of the flowing this one air, or we can say this one, if we increase the temperature, then we can say this equilibrium moisture content will decrease. And the free moisture, so here also we can say this one free moisture, also we can say the excess of the equilibrium moisture in the total moisture is called the free moisture, like this. So, the moisture in a wet solid actually in excess of the equilibrium moisture content is free moisture, but in technical definition is only free moisture that can be removed by drying under a specified condition, means in particular temperature, pressure, and the relative humidity of the drying medium, and then we can say this one flow rate of the drying medium. In that condition, which amount actually can be separated. So, we can say this one free moisture can be separated from the drying process in a particular prevailing drying condition, that we always say this one, which moisture is separated during this drying process. The answer is that only the free moisture is separated during this drying process, and this one we can say equilibrium moisture cannot be separated by this drying process. Okay. Now, this we will be discussing about the drying operations as a whole. So, based on this we can say this one mode of operation, we can say this one drying operation may be of two types, one will be the batch or semi batch process, and another will be the continuous process. Like this batch or semi batch process means under unsteady state condition, it will be like batch or semi batch process. But whenever it is continuous, then we can say it is a steady state fashion, means some wet solid is entering in the system and continuously this dry solid is removing the dryer or drying medium, like this. And based on the state of the wet solid, means so it is a whether it is a liquid solution, whether it is a slurry, whether it is a paste, or whether it is a filter cake, or it is a free flowing powder, or it is a granular or fibrous solid, or it is a lump. So, based on that also there are different types of drying operations are there. And another one is that method of the energy supply, how this we can say this one drying process will be taking place, whether directly we will be supplying this hot drying gas, or will be indirectly this one supplying this hot drying gas through the wall of the dryer, means from one side of this suppose drying medium will be supplying heat, and from the other side this evaporation of this water vapor will take place, or this is indirect this one what is called this one power supply or energy supply to the drying medium. So, here you see this is a general classification of dryer like this. So, say firstly we can say this is direct heat dryer and indirect heat dryer. Say in the direct heat dryer we can see this one batch process is there, then continuous process is there. In case of these batch dryers we have this tray dryer, tunnel dryer, this track dryer, then we can see the batch through circulation dryer, then batch fluidized bed dryer. In case of the continuous dryer we have this belt dryer and this flash dryer, and as well as this rotary dryer and this tunnel dryer. So, okay. So, in case of this indirect heat dryer, say we have either batch drying process or continuous drying process. In batch drying we can say agitated pan dryer, then vacuum tray dryer, then jacketed self dryer, then freeze dryer. Then in case of the continuous drying process, in the indirect heat drying, say steam tube rotary dryer is there, then drum dryer is there, then screw conveyor dryer is there, and trotter dryer also is there. So, out of this all the dryers are used for different drying operations. We will be discussing few dryers in detail out of these. Like few dryers are like this direct heat dryers, we can say this one tray dryer is there. So, trays are placed you see, and heat is supplied from the either from the bottom and here, this one hot air will be blown, and then we can moist air will be taken out from this top of this tray dryer. And belt dryer means this one, say it is the hot chamber. So, we can say this one belt will be rotating in this direction, along with this belt this wet solid will be entering, and then from the other side we can say this one dried products will be taken out. In tunnel track dryer, actually you see this one, so many we can say this one different rails are there, actually say in the rail we can say this one different dryers will be entering. Inside this we can say this one drying chamber, and then it will be coming out. So, we can say this one heat will be supplied using this we can say this inlet air, and from the exhaust we can say this one moist cold air actually will be taken out, and then final product actually will be taken from through this we can say this one rail from the other side of this dryer. And so, in case of indirect dryer we can say this one, say one is there we can say the rotary dryer. So, it is one of the dryers, and vacuum tray dryer, suppose the tray dryer is there, but vacuum is created, and that is why say at the low temperature and pressure the some drying also will take place in the batch process. And screw conveyor like this, the screw itself will carry the wet solid, especially for slurry type material. Suppose this slurry is fed from this top, and screw will be conveying the wet solid, and during this the chamber, the entire chamber will become hot. These relatively dried solids will be taken out from the other side of the screw conveyor dryer. Now, we will be discussing about the very important topic, that is the we can say the drying rate curve. So, we will be first discussing about the batch drying process, then for the continuous drying process also we will be discussing, but first we will be discussing about the constant drying condition. It indicates that whatever the drying medium is supplied or is used to dry the wet solid, it will remain constant, or we can say this one temperature, humidity, flow rate, and then suppose Reynolds number, Smith number of the drying medium will remain constant. And at the same time also we can say this one, the height of the drying medium, or we can say this one amount of the material, that will remain also constant. So, in that case we can say this one, the time required for the drying of moist solid to a final moisture content can be determined from the knowledge of the rate of drying under a given operating condition. We will be discussing in detail about that. So, that drying rate will be the function of temperature, humidity, flow rate, and this Reynolds number and Smith number of the flowing medium or drying medium. Let us take this graph of this time versus we can say this moisture content. So, in the beginning we have this huge amount of moisture, that is x I, that is say we can say this point 1, point A. So, from here to B actually we can say this one, when the heating started, at the beginning when the heating started. So, some initial adjustment takes place, and that is why we can say the moisture content decreases from A to B, a small decrease during this initial adjustment, or we can say this one during heating process. Then there is one particular this one period of the drying, that is from B to C, we can say this one, there dx dt actually will be constant, that is we can say this from B to C, where we can say this one only unbound moisture actually will be removed from the we can say this wet solid, that is, and moisture content actually will be decreasing proportionally or linearly. With this we can say this one, if we say this one drying rate is n, that is we can say this proportional to x. So, in that case we can say this one in the constant this one what is called drying rate period, in general we can say this one the drying rate actually will be maybe proportional to, that is proportional to the moisture content. So, that is say for constant we can say this one drying rate period, but from C to D we have this one, say we can say this fast falling rate period. So, in that case we can say this one moisture content, say maybe this is called say critical moisture content. This from this what is critical moisture content also will be discussing this one in the constant drying rate period. At the end of this constant drying rate period, whatever the moisture content of the wet solid, that is called critical moisture content. So, from the C we can say this one to D, that we can say this fast falling rate period. This is called the fast falling rate period, fast falling rate. There actually you see this one, this n proportional to, in most of the cases is proportional to x. Then we can say this one, another one is this, we can say this one second falling rate period is there d to e. So, that is we can say this one second falling rate. So, second falling rate period, there you see n is proportional to, most of the cases it is proportional to the x square, because that time this moisture content becomes very less, and that is why this rate will be proportional to x square. But for this one, for constant drying rate period, this n actually is equal to n c, not this n proportional to x. Okay. Now, this let S s is the mass of this bone dry solid like this. So, S s means we can say this one only dry solid is this one amount, and A is the drying area, that is we can say this on top surface. That is I told that whenever it is a constant drying condition, then we can say this one A will not vary, or A should not vary, but in reality A actually will go on decreasing, because you see whenever the drying operation starts, this after, especially after this constant drying period, with the some dry spots, or we can say the hot spots appear, and we can say this one, and then the solid starts squeezing. So, area decreases. So, we can say this one area will not remain constant, but for the timing we can say this one, we assume that A will remain constant throughout the drying process, and x is the moisture content at any time like this. In this we can say this one, we take this one as the moisture content. So, rate of drying process n is proportional to, we can say this one proportional to the amount of dry bone solid, and then we can say this one inversely proportional to the area, and proportional to the, we can say this one drying rate, means the, we can say this one change of the moisture content with time dx dt. So, we can say this one n is equal to minus S s by A into dx dt, or simply we can say this one almost equal to minus S s by A into dx delta x by delta t. So, for if we start from x I and if we reach this x star, so then delta x will be like this, delta x will be this x I minus x star, and delta t will be whatever the time actually will be requiring from this to this. So, this is the total time, we can say this one delta t will be this one. So, we can say this one a negative sign is used since moisture content decreases with time. So, that is why we have given this one, or in general we can say this one, say rate is proportional to dx dt. Okay. From here actually say we have this n is equal to minus S s by A into dx dt. Okay. Now, this plot of this drying rate versus the moisture content x is called this drying rate curve. We need to understand this drying rate curve very precisely, because you see based on that we have all the calculations. For this drying rate curve actually we will start from the right hand side, that is we can say this we will start from this A. So, this is the initially we can say this one, this x I amount of we can say the moisture is there, or we can say this one how much x I amount of the water vapor is there inside this one, and this one we have started this heating. So, whenever we do the heating, sometimes you see drying rate increases, but there are some instances where we can say this drying rate decreases also. So, we can say this one sometimes this A prime also will there, say means drying rate in the beginning also sometimes may decrease depending on the material, say it may start from here also. Anyway, this one this is called this heating of this one what is called wet solid, or from this room temperature to this particular operating condition, this it is coming from A to B. So, A may be here or may be somewhere here also. Then you see this I told earlier also that in the beginning the huge amount of this one water vapor is there inside this wet solid. So, rapid transport of the moisture will take place, that is why we can say this one from point B to point C, it is called constant rate period, that is we can say this one n is become n c. So, it is we can say that time it is not dependent on the how much amount of moisture actually is there in the beginning, it is not this one controlling that. And whenever it will be reaching a point where we can say this one dry patches actually will appear, and then that time we can say this one rate will start falling. So, the junction point this moisture content is called critical moisture. So, that is we can say this one x c. So, this A B we can say this one A to B we can say this one drying of solid accompanied by release of the moisture, or this is we can say this is due to this only heating, or we can say this one this is the initial adjustment. From B to C we can say this one constant drying period, that is dx is equal to dx dt is equal to constant parameter. So, it is whether the x I is very high, x I is very low, it is not dependent on that. So, in that case we can say this one drying rate will remain constant, that is in as N C. But whenever the dry patches will appear, we can say that at the same time we can say this one moisture content inside the solid decreases, then we can say this one the falling rate actually starts. From C to D we can say this one, we can say this from C to D, and from D to E we can say this one these are called this falling rate period. So, the equilibrium moisture content this x star we can say this one is reached at point E. So, whenever we can say this one any wet solid reaches it x star, then equilibrium moisture content, then drying process stops, then we can say this one drying rate becomes 0. So, after that you see this one x star will remain constant, and then it will not change also. So, if we can change the condition of the drying medium, say in terms of we can say this relative humidity, in terms of this temperature, in terms of this Reynolds number, Smith number, then we can say this one x star will decrease or increase depending on the situation, but you see whenever it will be reaching this x star equilibrium moisture content, then we can say the drying process will be stopped. So, that is why you can see that after that the curve become flat and indicating no further loss of the moisture. So, then x star actually there the drying process stops. So, if we can keep this one for a long period of time after this x star also, then there will be no drying, only the heating of the dry solid or this one whatever the less wet solid will be there without any drying operation. And say over the region B to C we can say this one, we told that say this one N becomes actually N C. So, this N is equal to N C, in that case that is nothing but we can say this one K y into say y s minus this y I. Okay. So, this y s means in any time actually we can say this K y is this we can say this one mass transfer coefficient, that is K y is equal to mass transfer coefficient, and y I is the only initial this one initial humidity, and y s is the we can say this one humidity at that we can say this one final condition. Okay. So, the moisture content at point C where the constant rate terminates is called the critical moisture content. So, critical moisture content means their constant drying rate period is over, and then this one falling rate period starts. So, C D represents the first falling rate period and D represents the second falling rate period. So, this first falling rate period you see we can say it almost linear, that is unsaturated surface drying takes place. There this both the capillary force as well as liquid diffusion will take place simultaneously, but wherever it will be reaching this point D, then we can say this one moisture content inside this wet solid actually decreases, and then we told that same in most of the cases this from D to E in the second falling rate period, this only internal diffusion takes place, and due to this internal movement of the moisture this drying rate decreases. But here from C to D I told that this N in general is proportional to x, here is N is proportional to x square. Now, you see this in the constant rate period. Suppose the constant drying rate period say from B to C, we can say this surface of the solid remains uniformly moist due to the rapid transport of the we can say this one moisture from inside to the top surface of the material. So, in that case from B to C we can say this one, this is constant drying rate period, and virtually there is no resistance to the fluid transport within the solid, because you see huge amount of liquid is there, liquid water is there, that is why it will be coming, and this one it will be evaporating from the top surface. So, it is as the surface is empty. So, we can say this one, the drying rate will be constant like this. So, we can say this is N c. At the end of this period we can see the dry patches. I told that here actually dry patches actually will appear on the surface, and small amount of the shrinkage of the this one what is called top surface also takes places. So, we can see the constant drying rate period, say from here to here. I told that say from this point to this may be decreasing, or sometimes the drying rate will increasing, that is we can see this initial adjustment part. I told that only due to this heating, because you see this one first we need to heat the wet solid. So, due to this hot heating either drying rate decreases or sometimes drying rate increases also, and then it will remain constant up to this. We are talking about this constant period, say this one from B to C, actually this is constant drying period, and this is, that is why you can say this one, it is actually you can say this one B to C, and then C to D, actually this is we can fast falling rate period, and from D to E, that is we can say this one second falling rate period. The fast falling rate period, say from C to D, like this, from if we say this is C, actually this is C to D, this is fast falling rate period, that is we can say unsaturated surface drying occurs. Drying rate is governed by this combined transport resistance of the moisture inside to that of the outside of the solid. So, that is we can say this one in the fast falling rate period, and transport by capillary force, and we can say this by liquid diffusion, both will be taking place, like capillary force as well as this liquid diffusion in the fast falling rate period from D to C to D, or here also we can see this one for fast falling rate period. It is expressed in terms of the drying time, it is expressed in terms of the we can say moisture content. Then for second falling rate period we can say this one. Now, say if we talk about this portion, say from D to E, here actually from this D to E, that is we can say this one. So, from in this period, say we can moisture content becomes quite low, and internal diffusion of the moisture essentially controls the drying process, and critical moisture content of wet solid is not a constant quantity, because I told that it can vary for so many alteration of the different variables, like this pore structure and particle size of the solid, then we can say thickness of the wet bed. Say whenever the thickness of the wet bed, suppose 1 inch this one wet bed has this lower critical moisture content, whenever it is 2 inch wet bed, say it is increasing, critical moisture content is increasing. For 3 inch wet bed, again we can say critical moisture content also increases. So, whenever we will be increasing the thickness of the wet bed, the critical moisture content also will be increasing. So, that is the thickness, or drying rate. So, we can say this one, that is temperature, humidity, Reynolds number, etc. Depending on that also critical moisture content will be different. Now, we will be doing this one calculation for the constant drying condition. I told that for constant drying condition, we need to maintain the same area. We can say this one humidity of the dry medium, then we can say the Reynolds number, Smith number of the drying medium, we need to keep constant. So, in that case we can say this one that is the constant drying condition. For that we will be getting the drying time for a, so we can say this one for batch drying process like this. So, let us take this one for this example like this. We know this one that n is equal to we can say this one SS this by A into dx dt. Let we can say this one xi is the initial moisture content of the, so there actually we will take that xi, that is the initial moisture content. So, this is the xi, and we can say this one xf is the final moisture content. Then we will be taking this one, say we will be rearranging like this, from here we will be say dt is equal to say let us take SS by A into dx by n. Now, we say we will be integrating from time 0 to t, we will be integrating this one from say suppose x I to x f. So, we can say this t will be equal to, now we will be changing this limit from x f to x I into SS by A dx by n, that will be equal to, we can say we will be now converting this one say in two different zones. Let us take this x f is here, x f is somewhere here. So, firstly it will be coming like this for the time being, we start from here. So, it is coming to this point. So, this is, we can say this one from x I to x c. So, it will be coming like this. So, we can say this one. So, x I to x c S s by A dx by n plus x f to x c S s by A dx by n. So, this one we can say this one total drying time will be like this. So, this is we can say this one for constant drying period, this is we can say this one for constant, this is called constant drying period. This is we can say this one falling rate period. So, the total time will be like this. So, if we integrate from x c to x I S s by A dx by n plus S s by A dx by n integrating from x f to x c. So, now we have this one divided into these two different parts like this. Firstly, it will be drying for this zone and secondly, will be drying for this zone. Inside this we can say falling rate period, we have this another this one, maybe we have two different drying zones. We can say this first falling period, then second falling, that we can again we can do that manipulation also. So, drying rate will remain constant at N c. So, we can say this one N c, for this we can till x c. So, this is we can say this one N c. So, in that case we can say this one N will be converting into N c. So, for that because x I to x c, this drying rate will remain constant. Okay. Now, so for first falling rate period and for second falling rate period we will be discussing. So, you see this for constant drying period, say we can say this one for T c, whatever we have this one S s by A into say x c to x I dx into N c, that will be equal to, we can say this one is equal to S s by A into x I minus x c by N c. So, this is we can say this one T c will be equal to S s by A into x I minus x c by N c. Now, we are more interested in the falling rate period. So, there in falling rate period, I told this in the beginning that for falling rate period, say suppose say it is the first falling rate period, then it is the second falling rate period. Let us take is this is x f. In falling rate period, so we will be taking this, we will be taking two this one conditions like this, two cases actually we will be discussing. Suppose a special case like special case 1. So, we will be taking that drying rate decreases linearly. Like we can say this one n will be like this, I proportional to x. So, we will be taking at n is equal to suppose m x c plus b. We can take this one, and in this point, say in this point, suppose say in this, when the start of this falling rate period, we can say this one, in that point actually, say n c will be equal to m into x c plus b, and this is nothing, this is n is equal to m x plus b. So, at constant drying, when the constant drying rate stops and fast falling rate starts, there we can say this one n c is equal to m into x c plus b, and say whenever it is x f, that case I can say this one n f, that is we can say this one. So, in that case suppose this is n f and this is n c. So, in that case it will be equal to m into x f plus b, and then say we can say n c minus n f is equal to m c m x c minus m f x f minus this one b. So, from these two equations we will be getting n c minus n f is equal to m into x c minus x f, or we can say this one m will be equal to n c minus n f by x c minus x f. So, we can say this one slope of this linear. So, we are assuming that it is entirely linear like this. So, m will be, the slope will be this one what is called n c minus n f by x c minus x f. So, we can say this one for falling rate period, we can say this one. So, for falling rate period, this T f will be S s by A into x f to x c and d x by n. So, there actually we have this, in place of this we can say this n will be writing this S s by A, because we have excluded this one from the integration. These are constant this one parameter, then we will be integrating this one x f to x c dx by n is equal to m x plus b. Now, we will be putting this, now we need to get this T f is equal to S s by A, and then m also will be coming, then we can say this one m will be coming whenever we will be integrating this one, then ln m x c plus b by m x f plus b. Okay. Now, we have this, in place of this m we can put this one, and also we can say this one whenever we will be talking about this is equal to S s by A into m into ln, that is nothing but n c by n f, whatever the n c is there, or say for this x f we have this n f. Okay. Now, we say for this condition, for first condition, when we assumed that this drying rate, the falling rate actually is linearly proportional to this moisture content, then we can say this total time will be equal to, we can say this on T c plus T f, that is we can say this on S s by A into x I minus x c by A into n c plus S s by A, the m actually we find out as m is equal to, in the this one just now we have found out that A is equal to n c minus n f by x c minus x f. So, we will be putting this one m is equal to n c minus n f into that is x c minus x f into ln n c by n f. So, this is the total time actually for, we can say this one, for the drying using this falling rate, that is linearly falling. There is only linearly falling, then we can say this total drying time will be S s by A into x I minus x c by n c plus S s by A into this one x c minus x f by A n c minus n f into ln n c by n f. Okay. Now, whenever it will be reaching this, we can say this one x star. Whenever we have this x star, then drying rate will be, say we can say this one n will be 0, this one when this x will be x star. So, whenever it will be reaching this equilibrium moisture content, therefore, we can say this one, this whatever the n is equal to m x plus c b we have this one mentioned, that will be n is equal to m we have into x star plus b, or we can say this one from here we can say this one b is equal to minus m x star. Okay. And also we know that n c, that is we can say this one critical, this one what is called constant the drying rate, that n c is equal to, say we can say this one m into x c plus b. Okay. So, then we can do one thing, in place of this b we will be placing this minus m x star. So, m into x c minus m into x star. Okay. So, from here we can say this one m is equal to n c by x c minus x star. So, we have got again another relation, this one for m is equal to n c by x c minus x star. So, whenever we will reach this x star, or we can say the equilibrium moisture content. Now, we see this one, this whatever the T f actually we have this one, this for T for this one a falling rate time T f, that is we can say this one T f, that is equal to, say whatever the expression we have this one, this S s by A into say x c minus x f by n c minus n f into ln, say there ln we have this one ln n c by n f, just we will be putting that n c by n f is equal to x c minus x star by, we can say this one x f minus x star. Okay. So, there we will be putting this x c, this here actually this x c minus x f by n c, this one we have this again m is equal to n c minus n f by x c minus x f. So, we will be putting this one in place of this, actually we will be putting 1 by m like this. So, T f will be equal to S s by A into, we can say this one x c minus x star by n c into ln, you can say x c minus x star divided by x f minus x star. Okay. So, here we have this T f is equal to this one. So, whenever it is going up to x star, so we have this T f is equal to S s by A into x c minus x star by n c into ln x c minus x star by x f minus x star. So, here we can say this one total this one drying time will be this T c, whatever we have this T c is equal to, say again we know that T c is equal to, we can say then we know S s by A into say x I minus x c by n c. So, we will be adding this T c and T f, we will be getting total time is equal to S s by A into x I minus x c by n c plus S s by A into x c minus x star by n c into ln x c minus x star by x f minus x star. So, we can say for this case we can say total time is equal to T c plus T f is equal to S s by A x I minus x c by n c plus S s by A into x c minus x star by n c into ln x c minus x star by x f minus x star. So, this is we can say this one total drying time will be like this. Okay. Now, you see this one another case actually we discussed this one that for special case 2 we can say we told that n is proportional to say x square. Like this we can say this one n will be equal to say beta into x square. Okay. Then we can say this one n c will be say beta into x c square. Okay. And then we can say this one beta is equal to we can say this n c by x c square. In that case equal to T f will be like this falling rate period, whatever the expression we have obtained for the case 1 we will be putting this beta value there, that is like S s by A. So, we will be putting this one say x f to x c say d x by say we can say this one n c is equal to we can say this one beta into x c square, that is we can say this ultimately we will be getting S s by A integration x f to this is x c into beta also will be taken out, this one what we can say this one will be keeping this one here, that is beta here, x to the power minus 2 into dx. Okay. So, then we will be getting this one is equal to S s by A into beta into say we can say this one this is 1 by say x f minus 1 by x c. Okay. So, that will be we can say this one, that is beta we can put here like this S s by A, beta is equal to this n c into x c square and then 1 by x f minus 1 by x c. Okay. So, this is T f and again we know that T c, that is we know that S s by A into x I minus x c. So, total time will be equal to say T c plus T f is equal to we can say this S s by A into x I minus x c plus S s by A into x c square by n c and into 1 by x f minus 1 by x c. So, this is the total time actually if we say that it is linearly decreasing. In the falling rate period suppose it is linearly decreasing. So, in that case we can say this one the total drying time will be T c plus T f, that S s by A into x I minus x c plus S s by A x c square by n c into 1 by x f minus 1 by x c. Okay. Now, we will be solving a very simple problem here, like a wet solid of 28% moisture is to be dried to 0.5% moisture in a tray dryer. A laboratory test shows that it requires 8 hours to reduce the moisture content of the same solid to 22%. Critical moisture content is 6% and the equilibrium moisture is 0.2%. The falling rate period is linear, means this one it is n proportional to n only in the free moisture content, and calculate the drying time of the solid if the drying conditions similar to those in the laboratory test are maintained. All moisture contents are represented at the percent of bone dry, this one we can say this one it is a dry basis. of the this one solid. So, this is very simple problem, just we need to gather the information only, from there we will be getting the total, what is the total drying time. Like say for solving this one, very easily we can write this one, say for the solution we have this, we need to write only what is this values, actually x c is equal to 0.06, then x i is equal to say whatever the initial moisture content 28% is 0.28, and whatever the equilibrium moisture content, that is given as 0.02%, like this 0.002. And for laboratory test, actually we can say this for lab test, x f is given as, this final moisture content is given as 0.02 and time is given as 8 hours, because this is required to get S s by A. So, these hints are required actually to get S s by A into N c also, because that constant drying rate actually is not also given in this condition. So, whatever the lab test actually is given, from there we will be trying to say total T is equal to 8 is equal to T c plus T f is equal to say whatever we know, this one S s by A into N c, then what is called this x i minus x c, that is we can say this one 0.28 minus 0.06 plus S s by A into N c into 0.06 minus equilibrium, this one 0.002 into ln. So, we can say this one x c 0.06 minus x star, that is 0.002 divided by 0.02 minus 0.002. So, from here actually we will be getting just S s by A into N c, that will be 27.29 hour. Okay. Now, you see this one time required to dry to, say we need to get this total time required to dry, time required T is equal to, so we can say this one S s by A into N c. Now, we have this 27.29 into x I, that is we can say this 0.28 minus 0.06 x c plus S s by A into N c, this 27.29 into we can say this one 0.06 minus 0.002, then ln 0.06 minus 0.002 divided by 0.005 minus 0.002. So, that is coming out to be as 10.89 hour. Okay. So, this is the, we can say this is a total time required to dry this this one what is called wet solid, because in this case we have this the total drying condition is similar to that of the laboratory condition. Okay. So, that is the we can say this one total 10.89 hour is required to dry this one, whereas it took only 8 hours for that condition. So, in the next class we will be discussing about the rate of drying for batch dryers. So, thank you.